Welcome back, guys. This is Gaming with Austin, and today S1E77. We are on episode 77. Let's get this world loaded up with the Utopian Community series. Sometimes it takes forever. Here we are. Here we are. Just removing all those branches on the tree. That's what I'm doing right now. As you might not notice, some of you might notice, a pumpkin is ready to harvest. The pumpkin is ready to harvest. You know, parents should not blame companies for marketing candies to kids. Want to know why? Eating a lot of sugar, it's a natural instinct they follow, especially when they're when they're going through a growth spurt, because that requires energy, nutrients that are readily available. Sugar is one of the most abundant sources of nutrients. Animals need that sugar. Oops. Trunk hopping is what I was doing. think about it. Excuse me. Many people don't know this, but Corpse Grinder has an Instagram account. Who is the lead singer of Cannibal Corpse. One of the songs that's closest to the very first death metal song there ever was probably Raining Blood by Slayer. It's not just... When you hear Hammer Smash Face and try to compare it to Raining Blood by Slayer, it sounds very similar, actually. It sounds very similar. It actually sounds really similar to Raining Blood by Slayer. Like with the galloping. Especially with the gallops. They sound very similar. You'll hear those types of galloping in Hardwired Self-Destruct by Metallica. The ascending chromatic gallop is what gives the illusion of it. Reverse gallop is what gives the illusion of it being a gallop when in fact it's a reverse gallop. Just like what you'll hear in Holy Wars by Megadeth. As the name implies, it talks about a religious war going on in Israel and in Ireland. The punishment due refers to the Punisher, a Marvel character. Change game mode. See. Here we are. Tom Araya, like today, has some resemblance to Karl Marx. Like, they both have the beard. The hair? Definitely. They both have the beard right. And the hair. They have some resemblance. Modern day communism's a bit different from Cold War communism. Like, with modern day communists, they're a bit different from Cold War communists. One of the differences is that the Fourth International are in favor of a democracy. Just like what, based on the principles of Leon Trotsky. They're anarcho-communists too. Communism is subject to a lot of memes too. Like, MySpace becomes our space. If one's gonna rule a country with an iron fist, they should do so for the benefit of the people, not for the benefit of themselves. The reason why Singapore has really harsh punishments for stuff like vandalism, like related to caning, it's because Singapore is a dictatorship. One thing a lot of dictatorships have in common is that they ban all the adult content we fellow Americans see occasionally. North Korea has similar policies too, except they're much more extreme. The reason why much of the Middle East has those policies is because of something called Sharia law. It's because of something called Sharia law. Even after Robbie Rotten's already dead in real life, I still can't stop thinking of him. Let's hope he gets awarded a golden play button. In honor of him. If I took over North Korea, I'd do it for the purpose of de-Stalinization. Just like what Nikita Khrushchev did. Because Stalin was really evil. He was a jerk. But Trotsky was not a jerk at all. one of my goals is to put an end to absolute monarchy around the world and bring forth democracy. We need to bring forth we need to restore our democracy back to what it was and help spread democracy around the world. And unify the human race. When it goes to the second coming of Christ, all those things people say about it, they're all opinions. They're actually opinions, not facts. Some people think it's fact, some people think not. You're free to share an opinion. There are some people out there who are anarchists, too. Like Lemmy. Anarchism's basically ultra-libertarianism. Basically ultra-libertarianism. Like to where there are no rules. But there are etiquettes you have to follow. When there are no laws. Be nice to others is one of those. Don't fight each other over even the most simple of things like food. Share the food together. I'd call Hitler's regime one of the least democratic regimes I've ever heard of. Tied with North Korea. If Nazi Germany was on the democracy index, it'd be even lower. It'd be slightly lower than that of North Korea, as there would be no electoral pluralism. Democratic fascism is also known as totalitarian democracy, in which citizens have the right to vote, but they have no say on who they vote for. That's the definition of democratic fascism. That's what democratic fascism is. Almost 100 years ago, women gained the right to vote, which is pretty good news. Which is pretty good news. If I was in the early 1900s, I'd fight for women's right to vote. I'd fight for their right to vote. Because they're just as important as men. Ultimately, they started reducing the voting age, too. I'm in favor of democracy. On a global scale. What we need is democracy. What we need to do is bring back a democracy. Because our democracy is actually in jeopardy. Because our liberties are being destroyed in the name of counterterrorism. Direct democracy would be the best democracy out there. Because everybody gets to vote. Rob. Nazi Germany was one of the worst countries to live in. Even if you were German, you shouldn't be living there during Hitler's reign. More like Hitler's reign of terror. Yes, I'd call it his reign of terror. Yes, I'd call it Hitler's reign of terror. Hitler had a pervasive cult of personality around him. As with Stalin. And pumpkin ready to harvest. Good. We are number one, hey, we are number one. Now, let's add more tree trunks over to my cocoa farm. One thing we need to... One example... What we need to do is bring back our civil liberties. Once and for all. With Kim Jong-un, I'd call him a crazy fat fuck. As with his father and grandfather before him, when they both ruled North Korea. I'd call them all fat fucks. Even Kim Il-sung was a fat fuck. When Kim the fat fuck took a visit to China, China banned mentioning Kim Jong-un on the internet over in China. So people on the internet and over in China decided to come up with creative names. Like the obese patient. Another name they came up with is the fatty on the train. Which is actually pretty funny. And people over in China, North Korea, when people in China start calling Kim Jong-un fat, their comrades in North Korea decided enough was enough for Kim Jong-un. because he really hates being called that. So their comrades asked Xi Jinping to stop with the name-calling. And it's pretty funny. When people call Kim Jong-un fat, because it sucks being the only fat kid at school. What's even worse, being the only fat kid in the country, while everybody else starves to death. That's even worse, if you're the only fat kid in the country. What's really bad, being the only fat kid in your country, in the whole country. What's even worse than that, being the only fat kid in the world. In impoverished countries, obesity is a sign of wealth. Obesity is a sign of wealth in impoverished countries. An example of someone who is really overweight is the leader of North Korea. In fact, 3 of them. The entire Kim dynasty. It's pretty ironic that Stalin killed Trotsky even though he was an ally of Lenin. Because Stalin was strongly anti-Semitic. Those who commit hate crimes against certain ethnic groups should be kicked out of society. They have no place. White supremacists of any ethnic group have no place in society. They don't belong in society whatsoever. China was an authoritarian state for like hundreds of years. Even into the Qing dynasty. It was still a dictatorship. But back then, it was in the form of absolute monarchy. One ethically disputed political practice is a dictator holding absolute power. It's ethically disputed. Wanna know why? Some dictators do it solely for evil, like Hitler. He was one of the worst people on the face of the earth. Fascism is an ideology based on hate. We need to get hatred out of our society. Nobody should be hating ethnic groups whatsoever. We shouldn't be purging people just because of their skin color, because that's just wrong. Because think of the Holocaust. Think of the Armenian genocide. But the Armenian genocide wasn't just ethnic cleansing, it was also a persecution of Christians, too. Similar to what Hitler did. When Hitler turned Germany from democracy to a dictatorship, he did so by killing people. He hated democracy. Just like Socrates did. Women should have the same rights as men everywhere. Not just in America, but all over the world. They deserve the same rights, too. Lord Fuckwad from Shrek was based on Adolf Hitler. His evil cousin, Mussolini. His evil twin, Mussolini. His just as evil twin, Mussolini. Russia under Lenin was an oligarchy. But Russia under Stalin was a totalitarian dictatorship. But Germany under Hitler was straight up brutalitarian. Why I say brutalitarian? Brutalitarianism is an extreme form of totalitarianism. He was really brutal. He had a massive cult of personality around him. Just like Mussolini, Franco, who led Spain, under his own ideology called Francoism. Even though Iceland does not have a military, they're one of the most peaceful nations to live in. we take out our military, probably have a bit more in common with Iceland. When the country becomes an anarchist community, people end up becoming much more compassionate towards one another. Much more compassionate with one another. With Eisenhower and FDR, I'd call them the Orwell twins. I'd call them the Orwell twins. Just like Kim Il-sung, Hitler hated America really bad. He hated America so bad he wanted to nuke it. That's how bad he hated America. He blamed all the problems in World War II not only on the Jewish people, but also the Americans. Who would I blame poverty on? The rich. I blame it on the rich. Because the truth is, you can't have rich people without poor people. This is why we need to tax the rich more. What can also be a cause of poverty? Famine. One shot at glory. I like that Judas. I was singing "One Shot at Glory" by Judas Priest. Bits and pieces of it. I believe that most tax evasion cases are unnoticed because the rich are not paying enough taxes. They need to pay even more. Some people are so greedy they refuse to pay their taxes. Trump's only changing policies for the greater good of the wealthy few, which is not good. I know this may piss some of you off. If you try to take the money away from a dictator, they're gonna get really pissed. For anyone in general, who needs a Cadillac anyway? Who needs a Cadillac anyway? Who needs a Cadillac anyway? Anyways. I'll be walking a little farther so you can see the progress I've made. As always, thank you for watching. Stay tuned for more. Share this with your friends on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube. Help my channel grow. And as always, thank you for watching. And don't forget to leave a like if you like this video. Dislike if you disliked it. Subs if you loved it. See you guys next time. See y'all next time. And as always, peace out.